You're listening to Designing the 21st Century. In recent years, there is a great emphasis on the supreme beauty and quality of handmade in contemporary design. In fact, I'm convinced that we are right now in a craft movement that has a particular 21st century look and allure to it. It is no longer a secret that bronze, which was largely absent from contemporary design in years leading to the end of the past century, has taken a key role in contemporary design like no other time in history, with much of it being fabricated in Italy. Osanna Visconti, my guest today, has become the ambassador of Italian bronze in contemporary design. Working in Milan, she has made cast bronze her sole tool. Now that her work is exhibited at Maison Gerard in New York, the time has come to explore her incredible vocabulary, which she has developed by journeying from jewelry to furniture design, or as she calls it, jewelry for the home. Her furniture has personality, and her objects have the power to transform contemporary spaces, making them a favorite among interior designers today. Osanna's pieces are rooted in the natural world as she regularly collects leaves, branches, and flowers, turning them into the primary subjects of her bronze objects. Hi, Osanna.
Hello, good morning,
Welcome
Diana.
to New York.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, how was your flight?
Fantastic. I'm super happy to be in this incredible, exciting city.
Great.
And here with you today, which is an honor for me.
Thank you, Osanna. You know, you grew up in Rome,
Yes.
my favorite city, and you grew up in an artistic house. What was it like? Your mother was a collector.
Well, my father and my mother, they were very curious persons. And they loved to be surrounded by artists. And my father was an architect and an engineer. And my mother was a collector of what she loved to live with. So she used to wear jewelry, jewels made by artists like Fontana, Ceroli, or Mastroianni, and many others artists. So she never wore very classic jewelry. And also in the house, they love to mix and to put in conversation contemporary pieces with inherited pieces. So this kind of taste really forged mine. This kind of approach to contemporary, to traditional pieces really touched my sensibility. And also my father was a great lover of Rome. And that was a great opportunity for me to be raised in Rome, because we spent many weekends with my family, with my father, my mother, and my brothers, visiting Rome. And Rome, there is the whole history of art. So from the Etruscan Greek remains to the Roman Empire monuments, to the Renaissance, explosion of the Renaissance art, so Michelangelo and the Raffaello and Bramante, to the dramatic art of the Baroque moment. So
It sounds like you were
I was
very
in love.
lucky.
Yes,
Very lucky.
I was lucky. That was a great opportunity. But because when you are surrounded by this kind of world of art, you appreciate, and you are used to live among beauty. And I really noticed that I felt this from the beginning of when I was going to school. I was going to school on top of the Spanish Steps, for example. So my classroom was looking, the whole, the view was Rome under, so nobody could remain
Amazing. And then you went to study jewelry.
Yes, at the Jewelry Academy in Rome.
What was it like? Like what type of techniques did you
They
learn?
mainly taught me how to project a piece, how to design a piece. But honestly, as soon as I got my diploma, I said I want to use my hands. So I went to work in a laboratory of a goldsmith. That he taught me how I could transmit what I had in my hand directly in my head, directly with my hands in the form that I wanted to do. So less design, but more craftsmanship.
Was there anything like very Italian about the way that they taught you how to make jewelry?
Yes, I'm sure that this Italian heritage forged my taste, absolutely. And my hands became my tools. So the lost wax technique that I discovered in that moment really allowed me to produce what I really could see with my fantasy. So the exact piece that I molded with my hand was in with the lost wax technique became in gold at that moment or silver. So I discovered this technique, which really fascinated me.
And then you moved to Milan. What was
Yes.
this like? You know, sometimes we think like we live in America and we think Italy is just one place, but there is such a big difference between Rome and Milan.
Yes, absolutely.
Why did you move?
I moved because I got married there, so for love. I had 4 children there. And when I arrived in Milano, I was really excited because the city was full of energy. That was the moment of. But first of all, Milan is the birthplace of the Italian design. So Gio Ponti, who is the father of the Italian design, was from Milano, but also many other designers, prominent designers, studied or lived or worked in Milano. Like, there is Castiglione, Scarpa between Venice and Milano. He worked a lot there.
Is there like when you moved to Milan, were you an outsider in terms of the design community?
I was an outsider, but I was very curious, and I was immediately part of it because I started to do small pieces in bronze, like objects. And so from the jewelry, I translate my work into small objects and small furniture, occasional tables. And Thomas Meyer, who was the creative director of Bottega Veneta, came to my atelier to see my jewelry for his brand, and he noticed these little occasional tables that I did with the bamboo cane pattern, and he said we have to do a collaboration together. So he offered me to do a collection with him with the Bottega Veneta intreccio, but the Bottega Veneta pattern.
Yes.
So we did this amazing collaboration of tables, of lamps, of ceiling lamps, and so.
So there are, like in Italy, there are two types of bronze casting. There is the sand casting and there is the lost wax.
Casting,
and
yes.
Rome is known historically for the sand casting. And so can you say something about why did you choose lost wax? Was it because you started with jewelry and you
Yes.
learned it?
Yes, because the sand casting is a more simple way to cast bronze because you have your shape, you press it in the sand, and you pour the bronze inside. So it's easier, it's faster, but it's less detailed. Instead, for more intricate pieces that I love to do, the lost wax casting technique. It's more precise.
Do you use digital fabrication for the mold? I know a lot of people do that.
Honestly, no. It's a personal choice. It's a sort of personal philosophy as well, because my creative process is exactly when I model the wax. And it doesn't finish there, but that's the most important moment of creation of my pieces. Because I think maybe the 3D doesn't transmit the human touch so much as if I do it with my hands.
There is a lot of, there are bronze foundries in Italy.
There are many.
Many, right? I mean, a lot of designers from all over the world go to Italy to cast the bronze furniture or sculpture or whatever it is. And how did you choose your own bronze foundry? And when did this happen?
Yes, in Italy we have many bronze foundries, artistic bronze foundries that they work mainly with artists, and but choosing the right foundry, it's like choosing the right partner. So, so it's very important, because you need to find a feeling with the artisan that you work with. Also, because I work really side by side with them, and I go to the foundry every single morning, and we do this work together. And of course, I need them. Otherwise, I couldn't produce my piece, because it's a very hard and heavy work, which hasn't been changed for 4,000 years. It's always the same technique, very rudimental, very strong, and very fascinating. So I'm really hands-on with my work.
How long does it take you? Your furniture is complex. How long does it take to create a piece of furniture from beginning to end?
Yes, it depends, but because the first part of the work is when I model the wax, then it has to be covered with the clay, and then put it in an oven for at least 10 days. Then after, it has to be placed in a big hole with the earth around, and then they pour this bronze inside the mold, and then they break the mold, as I said before, and the chiseling starts, which is very complicated and it's very long, and they weld the piece together, because if it's a big piece, you cannot do the casting all at once. So you need to do more than one piece. You have to weld them, then you have to remove all the imperfections.
So it's a very labor intensive, yes, because your pieces are made of several pieces put together.
Yes, yeah, and weld them together.
When you started to create furniture, when was it exactly that you moved from jewelry to furniture?
It was about 15, 20 years ago.
When you started making furniture, the world of design galleries was very different than today.
Yes.
Today, interior designers and collectors, people want to live with handmade things. It wasn't the same way 20 years ago.
No, there were not all these fairs. There were no all these galleries that exposed collectible design, we call it, because it's a mixture of craftsmanship and aesthetic pieces, but also functional pieces. They're all functional pieces with an aesthetic, with a strong aesthetic. So also the foundry that I work with, they work with artists, but very few designer of furniture.
You mean 20 years ago?
Yes.
But today?
Few more, but for my foundry, they work with Pomodoro, who just passed away, but they have been working with him, mainly with sculpture, because it's true that we are more now in the scene, but not as many as the industrial designers.
How the evolution of the world of collectible design, and your pieces are mostly made one of a kind, how this impacted the evolution of your own work as a designer, because now it's so much more popular. There is more of platforms.
Yes, of course. When I started, there were no all these fairs, platforms, galleries, which were dealing with collectible design. But now, yes, all my pieces are one of a kind, but they're more appreciated. I don't like very much to be in a category, because I never know how to define myself, because I'm an artisan, but I'm also a designer, but I'm also a craft person. So, okay, I do functional pieces with a high aesthetic that they are called collectible design.
You know that I recognize that a lot of the bronze furniture made today are designed by women. Did you know that?
No, but now that you say so,
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
It's true.
And there is a sense of timelessness attached to bronze. I think this is why people feel very good about bringing a piece of bronze furniture into the home. What is timelessness to you?
Timeless to me, it's beauty. Beauty, it's timeless. And the most incredible creator of beauty, it's nature. That's why I'm so inspired by nature, and I look up to nature, and I respect a lot nature, because it's the most incredible designer in the world, creator of incredible timeless pieces. That's why I love to observe nature and trying to freeze a moment of nature with my work. And bronze allows me to give a sort of eternity to a flower, to a leaf, to a branch, or I often work with natural fibers that normally in nature they're very delicate, but transforming them in bronze, they become strong. So there is a merger between lightness of the shape and the resilience of the bronze. So I think this is very nice.
Is there anybody in history that inspires you in terms of artisans or designers or artists?
But when I was 15 years old, I went with my parents to Fontainebleau, where the Lalanne were working. They were very young, and I honestly was touched by what they were doing.
Did you visit their studio?
Yes, and I also bought, because at that time it was affordable to buy a little chair that I still have in my living room, and I was for sure touched and
inspired
fascinated.
By Claude Lalanne?
Both of them.
Both of them?
Yes, they were there working hands-on on their work. They were really artisans and artists at the same time.
That's amazing. But and there's something, they are French and you're Italian. So my question to you is, what is Italian about your work? Except for, of course, making. You fabricate everything in Italy.
Yes.
You live in Italy. You live in Milan.
Yes, of course, I'm a blend of my Italian heritage. What I saw all my life around me, because Rome and Italy are a little bit like an open-air museums. So we are surrounded by beauty, and for sure that forged my taste.
When people buy your work, they take a piece of Italy into their home. This is how I feel.
Oh, thank you. That's I'm
Yes.
honored that you. I'm very
And
flattered that
Osanna,
you say.
thank you so much for being here, and I'm wishing you good luck with the new collaboration with
With
Maison
Maison
Gerard.
Gerard.
I'm sure that's going to be fantastic and so great having your pieces in New York.
I'm so excited to start this new adventure. I'm super excited and super grateful to Benoit, who discovered me. And because 10 years ago, I noticed his booths at the salon, and I said, this is the gallery that I would love to be one day. And here we are.
It's like fate.
Thank you.
So thanks
Danielle.
again.
Thank you, Daniela.
This is Daniela Ohad. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Designing the 21st Century.